evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special edition of Outtakes with Rex Reel. We really don't need to go to the early Cretaceous period, so we've given Rex the night off. Welcome into the studio, John Engel, who is behind the Three Rivers Comic-Con. He's what is your official title now? Like Master, Grand Lord, Dark Sith of New Dimension Comics?
I like Overlord.
Overlord will work.
Only because I oversee everyone. But my title is actually, it's General Manager. I like Regional Manager because it makes a little more sense with our space that we have.
Sure.
But General Manager is my official title. And then co-promoter or promoter for the show.
Every year, the Three Rivers Comic-Con, we've had you on to talk about it, and we didn't, want to break from tradition. And I've said this every year that we do this interview show, that the con is always a bonus for me because I get probably between 80 and 90% of my Christmas shopping done. And it's done in June, so I don't have to worry about any of those mad rushes to the mall. Everything's packaged and wrapped and everything when the con is done. The Three Rivers Comic-Con is always known as trying to bring the comic back into the concept of the con, where so many Comic-Cons have deviated from that and turned into studio hypes or celebrity hellos and things of that nature. Right. At the end of last year's con, when you're breaking stuff down and, there's always people saying, I'm going to suggest this, I'm going to suggest that, and I think we should do this next year, and you hear all these things going around. So let's start by asking you straight out, what is going to happen at the con this year that is, maybe approaching differently, or something that's, new and exciting, things that have changed from last year?
So one of the biggest changes is we've really ramped up the charity drink and draw. This year will be hosted by Sammy Castillo. She's an artist. She'll be in Artist Alley. Her and her late husband Tommy used to run big ones at like Wizard Worlds and stuff like that. So we're pushing this. So there's two categories for that one, a professional and an amateur. You don't need to be, you don't even need to buy a ticket for the show because it's after the show on Saturday at 7 o'clock in Bill's Burgers at the Westin.
Yeah.
And she's just going to give you something extremely random to draw. And whoever wins gets a free booth at our 2025 show.
Oh, cool.
If in the professional end. And then on the amateur end, it would just be someone, they would get like a goodie box of like art supplies and stuff like that. That's one of the bigger ones. I think it's just the fact that our guest list is much bigger for comic people. We have some guys who are returning that have not been there in a long time. We have some brand new guests. One of the ones that's kind of cool to feature is the Tribe. So Larry Stroman and Todd Johnson are relaunching the book The Tribe at our show for the first. So that'll be the first place you can buy it physically. You can do the Kickstarter now and then have it mailed, because I think it mails out around the same time. But this is the book that holds the record for the biggest sales for a creative team that's 100% African American.
Okay.
And Larry, it's that black one right there. So this is an original print of the original Tribe that came out in the 90s. And it's just kind of a cool thing to relaunch because you don't see that a lot in that kind of forum.
Well, this thing, this book with the Tribe here, this is a pretty big how do you do.
Yeah.
You had done, what was there originally, like 4 issues or?
I think so. 4 or 6.
And you had all 4 of the first edition ones, and this is obviously one of them.
Yep.
And it's going to be, I guess that's going to be a featured thing at the con now with this thing starting over again.
It's a very big deal, and they're going to be at a corner booth. They'll both be right beside each other. This is about them launching this. So Larry
and Todd will both be there.
They'll both be there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. One thing that I think is really nice about the con and what it does is it does a lot of things for charity, and the big charity that is called the Children's Miracle Network. It might be kind of advantageous to explain how you got involved with them and basically what happens, how the tie-in between the con and the charity.
Sure. So one of the guys that used to work at our Pittsburgh Mills store, his name's Brian Brickner, got involved with Extra Life. Extra Life is a organization that kind of does peer-to-peer and also like streaming donations, and you pick your own campaign, right? So his campaign is for the Pittsburgh Children's Network because it's right here in Pittsburgh, and he lives in Glenshaw. So he's like, it's dear to him. And I said, hey man, that's cool. And since year one, we've been pushing this, and we've been trying to find different ways to ramp up how to get more money for it. Because normally what they do is they'll play like a video game or a card game, and people will donate money as they play and watch, stuff like that. Very influencer style. Versus what we do at the show, we have two different ways. So we have the art auction that, or the drink and draw part that I mentioned. That stuff all goes into the actual art auction itself. So that stuff will be auctioned off there at the drink and draw, or anything left over, or during the rest of the weekend, you can come in and go over to the art auction, which is usually toward the back by the seating area, because people will be grabbing lunch or something at a snack at a table, and they'll be able to see this stuff, and there will be all kinds of things. I remember one year Koa Beam did this giant double-page spread, and it was huge. It was probably like 3 feet wide. It was awesome. I know a couple of years ago, Andrew Dewar did an awesome Godzilla when we were down at the Macy's, and it went for like $250. It was crazy. And it was spectacular, though. So this year, we have a couple cool things. I'm just going to show just this one piece off. This is a graded Transformers 1 Maria Wolf cover. So this it's foil, and it was signed by her, and then it was graded, and I got this at New York Comic Con. This is my personal donation to the art auction, and I sent it out with CBCS, who is our grading company that comes to our convention. It took about a week and a half to get back, and came back at 9.8. So I had an extra one, so I'm putting that one in the art auction.
Talk a little bit about the CBCS. Of all the cons I've gone to, I've never really, stopped and talked to those guys or sit there. So, what benefit is it to have them there?
So a lot of people like to get stuff graded to either encapsulate it so that it doesn't get more damaged than it already is. Maybe it's already damaged, or they just want to protect it and they don't want to keep changing a bag. So it's like a vacuum seal in there, right? So CBCS not just does comics, though. They do magazines, VHS tapes, manga, trading cards, sports cards, and non-sports cards. So if you have like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, you can bring that too, because they're part of the Beckett family. So
how in the world do you grade a VHS tape? Or are
You're
they just grading the box that goes into it?
I imagine it's the box, but
so we're talking about. I hope I get this right now, as I don't want to mess this up. We're talking about two different things here. Go ahead, hold that one up. This is Bad Girl, but this is. There's a cardboard behind the comic.
Yep.
And then it's in a what is it? An acetate plastic.
Yeah.
And that's wrapped. And I think what the CBCS does is more like this.
Yep.
Where that's encased in it looks like Han Solo at the end of.
It's very carbonite.
Yes. Yeah, there's a clear carbonite there, and it's messed up in there. So you're never getting that out.
Yeah. The other cool thing that CBCS will do, and CGC, which is the other big grading company in the world, CBCS has been doing this for a long time. They actually will verify a signature without witnessing it. It's a little more money to do that because they got to really research it.
Sure.
But if you have stuff by like Stan Lee or Jack Kirby or George Perez or someone who has passed away,
Right.
you can just take them to that. They'll verify the signature. CGC just started doing that because they bought a company that does that. So they're a little behind.
Yeah.
But these guys are great. They've always been really great to us. Their prices are good. They're very professional. Everything comes back great.
So if I come down to the con and I have maybe a half a dozen or so comics, and I take them over to these folks at CBCS, and I give them to them, I'm not going to get those back the same day, right?
Correct. It's drop off only.
Okay.
They don't. I don't think any of the grading companies do grading on the spot anymore, or else they would it would hold up the show. So, but yeah, you drop it off. You fill out a form. You pay what you need to pay.
Yep.
And then off it goes. And about a week or two later, it comes back to you, mailed right to your house, and there it is, in a box. They send it nicely packaged.
And
wrapped in bubble wrap.
if I have these 6 comics, doing something like this and having them graded, does that necessarily increase their value or?
No. So there's a couple things about grading. So one is, depending on who looks at it, they're going to be the one who gives you the grade, right? So you could take a book to 6 different people and get 6 different grades.
All within the one company.
Yeah. So it really just depends on what you hope it's going to be and what it actually comes back. Like if I was like, you know what? No, I think this book's actually more of an 8.5. I can crack it and send it back, or I can say I'd like this to be regraded, and they would take it and do it. I don't, though. I think it's actually a 7. So you can do that, and these all come with a serial number. Same with if you go to CGC, you'll get a serial number, so you can actually like log it and track it and all kinds of stuff.
So these guys are pretty handy guys to have on scene, and they will be at the con. We had mentioned already that there were going to be a nice plethora of returning and new artists at the con this year, and we'll talk about those when Outtakes with Rick's Reel continues right after this. House of Haruza Barbershop and Cigar Lounge have been a sponsor of the show now and I'll tell you what, they have some things happening on both ends of the spectrum that I think you're going to want to know about. Let's cast our crystal ball down into the future, because it seems like it's far off, but you'll be surprised how quickly it comes around. In August is the annual golf outing. Now you want to be a part of this because it's always a great time. You want to give Sam or Evan a call. Put the number up here for you on the bottom. Find out the details about signing up for the golf outing, getting on a team, and have yourself a blast the whole day long. Now, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more, let's say immediate in the future, there is a special deal going on now. It's called the Pick 5. I love the sale, I really do. Go in, pick any 5 cigars you want, and you get 25% off. In fact, Sam's doing a deal now where it's got to be 5, but if you want to go 10, 15, still works. So anything 5 and above, pick 5, any cigars you want, and there is a plethora to choose from, and you'll get 25% off, especially with the weather being nice now. You sit out on the back patio and light up. Excellent, just excellent. It's the House of Haruza Barbershop and Cigar Lounge, located at the corner of South Park Road and Drake Road. Welcome back to Outtakes with Rick's Reel. We're talking with John from New Dimension Comics, and our main topic is the Three Rivers Comic Con. Well, I guess, we haven't mentioned the date yet.
That's true.
So it's June 1st.
1st and 2nd.
And June 2nd, and at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center once again, which is a very nice venue. We have a good time when we go down there. And it's conveniently located in the city, right in the heart of the city, and certainly there's enough to do to keep people amused
Absolutely.
when they're down there. We talked a little bit and teased a little bit in the first half about some of the artists that are coming back. Of course, one of my favorites is Ron Friends will be there. Ron was at the last one. I spent a lot of time at his table. I promised him we would have him back on the show. I have not done that yet. I am remiss. But I know he's put out a couple of new comics in the last year. And I want to have him come on and talk about those. But you have some people who are not only some people that are returning, but you have some first-time people coming in that are of note, and you brought some of their work here. So let's highlight a few of those.
I already showed you the Tribe. I already showed you the Spider-Man. Ron
Yeah.
Friends did that Spider-Man. I already showed you the Maria Wolf.
Yep.
This Bad Girl is Garrett Gunn. This was the variant from last year's show. He's coming back this year. He's the writer for that book. This is Feral, which is the sequel series to a book called Stray Dogs that Tony Fleeks and Trish did.
I remember Stray Dogs.
It was really cool. Like it's a little bit of horror, but it's a little bit weird because it's like Disney art. This book is very good. It's actually brand new. Issue 2 just came out last week, so you can pick up mostly issue 1s and number 2s. This is Uncanny Valley. This is by Dave Wachter, who also was written by Tony Fleeks, who did Feral. So this is a cool book about a guy who is coming of age and he's having trouble fitting in, and then you find out that he's actually part cartoon, and the Yosemite Sam looking guy on the front cover, that's his grandfather.
Yeah, we were talking about this one.
It's pretty fun. But Dave just wrapped up a Planet of the Apes book. He just wrapped up a Punisher book. He's worked on Godzilla, Ninja Turtles, Iron Fist. He's done a lot.
Yeah.
And we're really, really happy to have him. This is Spider-Man Deadpool, and this is inked by Mark Morales, who is a first-timer for this year. Mark has also worked on Star Wars, some Justice League stuff, some Wonder Woman stuff, all kinds of...
He's a pretty big
really,
name.
yeah. I actually bought an art page from him at Baltimore,
And a lot of times, these guys will, if you go up to them, they'll do a commission for you right there at the show.
Yeah,
So,
or you can reach out to them ahead of time, which
Yeah.
is what a lot of them prefer. This is a Spider-Man that Wayne Foucher inked. He's a returning guy. And him and Mark are actually going to be doing a panel on inking. I
that's
really
nice.
want to call it I'm Not a Tracer, but I don't know if they're going to let me do that.
No, I wouldn't do that.
This is GoBots by Tom Scioli. Tom's another Pittsburgh guy. He's also done Grand Design Fantastic Four. He has a new book called Witchman out. He's done Opus 8, Godland. He did a Transformers G.I. Joe book. And he's actually going to be doing a panel with Josh Blaylock about Transformers and G.I. Joe and keeping 80s and 90s nostalgia alive in comics, because Josh was one of the first people to do that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't have any of Josh's books with me either. I just kind of had to scramble because I've been kind of busy running a lot of stuff.
Trying to get things in order. Yeah, I can understand that.
These are 2 indie books I wanted to just push out. This is called Lycan, and it is about the world's first werewolf. And my buddy Dennis writes this book. There's a second volume already out that you can buy at his booth. And then the third one, the Kickstarter just finished, and it won't be fulfilled until the fall. But it's super cool. You can't miss him. He usually has a big werewolf behind him. He has a hockey jersey on it that says Lycan. But it's a really great read. He's the writer of it. The artist is somewhere overseas, and it's just fantastic. This is Aurora, which is a book by Sora Sung. This is her original book. She also does another book called Carnal Confessions, and they both are in the same universe. But this is like her superheroine type character for it. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Now you had mentioned in that talk, you had mentioned about the panels, and
Yeah.
not to be a tracer or whatever. The panels, I was able to go to. I think I went to 3 of them
Yeah.
last year. They were kind of fun. What else do you have in line for the panels this year?
We have Bruce. I can never say his last name right, so I'm not even going to try. But he is the largest collector of Spider-Man stuff and Steve Ditko specifically stuff in the U.S. And he's doing 2 panels. One's called Spider-Man and Me, and another one, I can't remember the name of the title, but it's going to be very similar to that. As I mentioned, the 2, the nostalgia one and then the Inkers one. We have a couple we have one that's how to be a better dungeon master, basically, or game master, where I think they're actually going to play the game in the middle of the panel. Greg Wilson's doing that one. We have 1 or 2 different style how to break into the comic industry. One's more specifically using social media. The other one is more traditional ways. There is script to screen, which Marvin Wen from Comicsburg's going to do.
I may have to swing by that one.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. He's done that. I think this is the 2nd year he's done that one. Then we have like a couple cosplay ones, and that's pretty much it.
And cosplay also is a big part of the con.
Oh, absolutely.
Last year you had well, I think this year so far you've promoted the Pittsburgh Ghostbusters are going to be there, and
we have those guys. We have the Star Trek ship that's normally there, the Solstice. I don't know if they're bringing the bridge, but they're at least bringing the transporter.
Oh, cool.
We have the 501st, which is the Star Wars groups. Then we have a couple featured cosplayers. If you've seen our poster, you've seen the Daredevil hanging off the building. That's Captain Cash. He will be there. I've known that guy a long time, since we started the show, and I've watched his cosplay develop over the years. And this is the first time we're having a male featured cosplayer. But his stuff is so good. Go check out his social media. It's a lot of fun. We have Commander Snips. This is her first, I believe, featured cosplay setup. Nikki Lee Cosplay, who's another just phenomenal cosplayer. She just posted a bunch of ones as Black Cat the other day, and I was like, I know that street. That's in the strip district, or the cultural district. There's Natalie, and I think I'm missing one. Someone's going to hate me later.
Oh, well, you'll hear about it.
Right. But we also have Cosplay for a Cause, which is a group that goes out and just does cosplay at charity events.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we have the Pittsburgh Justice League. So last year we had the Avengers. This year we're having the Justice League.
Cool.
So imagine it. It's all Justice League characters.
There you go. I know I get a lot of pictures on the cosplay stuff, and you'll see them on the social sites when I get in there. We'll probably bad luck will follow us all the days of our lives from Todd if we don't mention.
Oh, the beer.
Correct.
Gotta talk about the beer.
Go ahead. Tell us about this year's beer.
So this year, it actually kind of worked out in a very interesting way. So Todd was working with an artist that eventually ended up not being able to do the show. And I was like, why don't you reach out to Don Simpson? He will do that. He will 100% do it. He will gladly draw you a Megaton Man. And not thinking in my brain that it's the 40th anniversary of Megaton Man.
Oh, geez.
So it worked out perfectly. So we were getting Silo Stout because Megaton Man got his powers from a nuclear weapon in a silo.
Okay.
So it's Don Simpson, Megaton Man. It's going to be from the beer is brewed at Shoe Brew up in Zelienople. The release is Friday night, so it's like a pregame for the con at 7 o'clock at Bill's Burgers. You can buy the cans there. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we'll still have at least a little bit on tap. And then Saturday during the drink and draw, you can come and get more. You can buy more if you want. And you can buy as many cans as you want. And we're just excited to have it. Don will be there both days signing the cans. He loves it. He's been working in comics for almost 50 years.
Yeah.
And he teaches at Pitt, and he does all kinds of stuff now, and it's very weird to see him do that. But he has he's got a cool style, and we're excited to support another Pittsburgher and celebrate something like that. And I'm just glad it worked out to be the anniversary year. Like, just
That's kind of cool.
fell into place.
And I'm about to say something that will have Todd fall out of his chair when he watches this. I still have the beers
Yeah,
from
a lot of people do.
all the cons.
Yeah.
For some reason, I have bottles.
So the first 3 years were bottles.
I have 3 bottles, and then cans later. But they're glass bottles.
Yeah.
And they're on the shelf. And I remember the last time I talked to Todd and told him, dude, you got to drink the beer. You got to open that up. You don't keep that. No, I didn't drink it. It's still there. I don't know why, but it's still there on the top shelf down in the bar. And I said, I'm going to just keep those right up there. And
Nice. This year we changed that up a little bit, though. So you can only get this year's beer this year, unless you buy. There's a ticket package on our website that's like the beer package, and you get one of every year's beer. Most of them will be signed.
Oh, good Lord.
And the other cool part is, like,
That's a lot of beer.
yeah, if you have a Mercy Sparks and you didn't get it signed, you can bring it because Josh will be there. You can't bring it in the con, but you can bring it to the beer release or the drink and draw.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, that's pretty cool, too.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up and do it the right way. It's the Three Rivers Comic-Con. It is the con that puts the comics back in. Did you want to mention that little nod you got on the social media, or are we going to just let that slide?
No, I mean, I guess by the time this airs, it'll be announced. So I'll do it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So at the time of this recording, and it's not been announced, but the editor-in-chief of Marvel Comics will be coming to Pittsburgh to our show, CB Cebulski. He will be doing portfolio reviews. So if you think you got what it takes to work at one of the largest comic book companies on the planet, bring it on. Or bring it on and just have them tell you what it is. Like, you're never going to learn until you get feedback, and he's not going to try to shoehorn you into a path that is bad. He's just going to tell you how to improve on your stuff.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, he's really good. He's a really nice guy. I've met him a couple times. But yeah, so that's a pretty big get.
That's a big
And
get.
we're pretty excited to have him.
Glad we got a chance to mention it. This is June 1st and 2nd at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. It is the Three Rivers Comic-Con. John, thanks once again
Absolutely
for coming on board. I know I'm going to be there, Christmas shopping. Hope to see you there too. So now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson. See you at the con.